honor, service, patriotism. Eastern Mindanao Command through the years. The Eastern Mindanao Command was officially activated on August 28, 2006 with its first commander, Major General Rodolfo S. Obanyana. The command was then given the responsibility to secure southeastern Mindanao, central and northern Mindanao, with a mission to conduct joint operations against all national security threats in the area. Since then, Eastern Mindanao Command became an active partner of civil authorities in maintaining peace and fostering development within its area of responsibility. To protect the indigenous peoples from the threats in their communities and ancestral domain, then Lieutenant General Cardozo M. Luna launched the Indigenous Peoples Special Operations Team in the whole Eastern Mindanao. He further institutionalized trainings on peace building and conflict management to bring peace in Eastern Mindanao. When the Supreme Court declared on October 14, 2008 that the Memorandum of Agreement on Ancestral Domain was unconstitutional, violence in Central Mindanao escalated. This prompted the command under Major General Armando Cunanan to realign and deploy forces for the sole purpose of normalizing the situation in the area and ensuring that communities were safe and secured. The Eastern Mindanao Command, under Lieutenant General Raimundo Ferrer, was tasked to restore normalcy in the Maguindanao when then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo declared martial law in Mindanao in response to the infamous massacre that occurred in the Ampatuan town in the province Maguindanao on November 23, 2009. The introduction of the automated elections in 2010, the command was in the forefront in ensuring the orderly and peaceful elections within the area of responsibility. Different units under the command were able to prove their mettle and non-partisanship when the rights of the people to suffrage were properly exercised peacefully and orderly. Winning the peace has been the important mandates of the Armed Forces of the Philippines after the organization has undertaken a paradigm shift. The command under General Arthur Tabaquero crafted Panagdait Mindanao as an implementation plan of the Internal Peace and Security Plan, Bayanihan, within the command's area of responsibility. During the incumbency of Lieutenant General Jorge V. Segovia, he gained the unrelenting support of the local government units and agencies for the Peace and Development Outreach Program, or PDOP teams of Eastern Mindanao Command, by the Association of Regional Executives of National Government Agencies. The massive deployment of peace and development teams, or Bayanihan teams, in its area of responsibility had deeply contributed to the betterment of the situation among communities, which turned out to have resulted to the handover of counterinsurgency lead role to the provincial governments. The aftermath of Super Typhoon Pablo in 2012 affected some part of the command's area of responsibility. The command rose up to the challenge and mobilized different units from its air, naval, and land components to lead a search, rescue, and retrieval operations during the course of the natural catastrophe. The command organized the Task Force Tambayayong to assist different LGUs and NGAs in the rehabilitation of the various affected communities. Lieutenant General Ricardo Rainier Cruz, during his incumbency, made partnerships with different stakeholders, strengthening the whole of nation initiative in achieving peace and stability in the region. He implemented 3 joint letter directives between EMC, AFP, and DPOM PNP, which were aimed at strengthening the interoperability of the AFP and the PNP against threats posed by the CPP-NPA and local terrorist groups. An indigenous people-centric approach was adapted by the command during the leadership of Lieutenant General Aurelio Baladad to curb the problems brought by the intrusion of the New People's Army in the indigenous people's ancestral domain. Outreach activities were conducted to help capacitate and empower indigenous peoples, improve their living conditions, strengthen their political system, culture, and tradition, and protect them from CPP-NDF-NPA's propaganda and exploitation. During the incumbency of Lieutenant General Ray Leonardo B. Guerrero, Eastern Mindanao Command has remained fully committed and strengthening operations for the maintenance of peace and order in the region. The command was able to declare the province of Surigao del Sur, Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Compostela Valley, the city of Davao, and the Colombio Sultan Kudarat as peaceful and ready for further development. In maintaining peace and order in the communities, the command carried out the mandate without disregarding international humanitarian law and respect of human rights in the conduct of all operations. Intensified maritime operations and air operations are continuously being carried out to establish naval presence and sea control in the waters of its area of operations. During the 2016 synchronized national and local election, Lieutenant General Guerrero implemented measures which made the election the most peaceful in the history of the Eastern Mindanao, with zero election-related violence. And during the Mount Apo fire on March 2016, the brave pilots and ground forces, armed with ingenuity and courage, worked hand-in-hand with different sectors in preventing the wildfire to engulf the communities around the Mount Apo Natural Park. After a bomb exploded at the Rojas Night Market in Davao City on September 2, 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte had declared a state of lawlessness in the entire country a day after the incident. Eastern Mindanao Command was in the forefront, undertaking several tasks to ensure public safety without compromising human rights and the rule of law, and brought the situation to normalcy in a short time. Operationally, General Guerrero has undertaken measures to enhance and promote jointness in the command's operation. The changing security landscape in Davao City, as it becomes the alternate seat of the government and venue for international events, brought with it an approach to adapt to its current security status. The Eastern Mindanao Command had formed the Joint Task Force Haribon on October 22, 2016 to enhance security in Davao City and its surrounding areas by integrating the air, land, and sea capabilities of the armed forces of the Philippines and shield it from terrorism and other threats. The Eastern Mindanao Command was among the key players who contributed to the success of the country's hosting of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations gatherings this year, as it geared up its security operations for the peaceful and orderly conduct of the event, particularly in Davao City. President Rodrigo Duterte's declaration of martial law in Mindanao on May 23, 2017, as a response to the rebellion staged by the Maote terror group in Marawi City. The Eastern Mindanao Command had been the forefront of its implementation since the declaration and had geared up various security operations to help extinguish the rebellion and prevent it from spilling over other areas. To strengthen the security of the border with the Republic of Indonesia, Eastern Mindanao Command seek the review of the 1975 Border Crossing Agreement in order to be attuned with the changing times. Organizationally, General Guerrero continued the governance reforms started by his predecessor and was able to have the EMC attain compliant and proficient status in the AFP's Transformation Roadmap Performance Governance Pathway with a Gold Trailblazer Award for obtaining a rating of 93.35%. Currently, Eastern Mindanao Command is implementing the Armed Forces of the Philippines Campaign Plan, Development, Support and Security Plan Kapayapan through its Community Support Program. The Eastern Mindanao Command's current campaign plan, Kalinaw Sidlakang Mindanao, seeks to sustain peace in the communities, aims to support law enforcement operations against lawless elements and illegal drugs, and contribute to the overall objective of the government of real change and inclusive development.